Hello, namaste, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, or maybe even good evening in whichever part of the world you are joining us from. My name is Deepak Khemani and I am one of the co-founders of Bloom. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all. We recently completed our 102nd century episode and we are back with the Sunday Bloom Talk today. Bloom was birthed during the pandemic, an idea which started with 5 people getting together, deciding, let's do something, now has viewership across the globe. We've had speakers and guests from India, Australia, Europe, UK, the US, Africa. Among them, there was one lady who was a 4-time Olympian. We've had the world powerlifting champion record holder on the Bloom Talk Show, the president of the Professional Speakers Association of Netherlands, doctors, nurses, experts from different domains. Money being one of the biggest domains. If we had 100 people on the show, at least 50 or 60 are always talking about money, wealth, compounding. Yours truly. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in today. We have a special guest, Sanjay Teli, who is joining us. I would like to thank Abhijit Sansgiri for introducing him to us and for him accepting our invitation to be on the show. Thank you, Sanjay, for joining us, for taking time out on a Sunday afternoon and being with us over here. Now, I have a full sheet in which I can read out your achievements and it's almost like a CV. But instead of me reading it out, I would request you to tell us a little bit about yourself, how you started, your journey, and what you are doing now. Over to you, Sanjay.
Thank you, Deepak, and thank you, Bloom team. First of all, Abhi, I'm extremely thankful to you first. So my journey started as I worked in my first avatar, and then started my firm ESP in 1996. This is a search organization, mainly on the executive search. Now, within these 25 years, we have gone global. So we have office in Singapore, Dubai, and our main focus is on only executive search. So the board members, CEOs, CXO level searches, identifying this talent, interviewing them, assessing them, and placing them with the right places. Okay. After 8-10 years from there, then diversified, and one of the company we formed with Soumya Rajan is Waterfield Advisors, which is into money management and multifamily office, which is a large office now, and she's one of the person did it very well as a, founding member of the firm. Then slowly started investing in few firms and they have done well. My recent investment, with one company which I would like to highlight is SAM Corporation, which is a Dubai-based company. And it's a PhD IIT, Sunil Khandelwal is a founder and Mark is the co-founder, and they are doing well. Within 4 or 5 months, now they have done exceptionally well. They are it's a tech-driven company. They are into EPM, but slowly they are moving towards a large corporation now. So this is so mainly, what I have seen is the journey is very simple, not very adventurous, and as and when basis something happens, I contribute. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. And the topic of today's show is skills. Now, it is being said that, we are bringing up students, our course, our curriculum is such that we are teaching them something which probably may or may not help them get that job. Because for people who are passing out of college, who are graduating or postgraduates, they end up doing something totally different from what they have studied. Engineers are managing money. Doctors are now doing singing jobs and who are, becoming professionals. Everybody is all over the place. And it is said that, the jobs 15, 20 years down the line, we don't even know what sort of jobs will exist. We are not preparing our children for that. Your views, what is happening now in industry at the curriculum level and what needs to change?
See, first of all, who are we to change the curriculum? That's the first question. Okay. When we read a curriculum or any kind of pedagogy which is set by the education system, Are they teaching them interpersonal skills? That's my first question, because that is something most important moving forward in life. Okay. More working on their attitude, because these are important aspects, because everybody will study and will run towards marks and then further jobs. Okay. Are we creating entrepreneurs? That's my first question. Okay. Because you asked me on uh, curriculum, education systems, or all that stuff, they will remain. They will remain for 100 years, next 200 years as it is. Okay. But the change required in the mindset of people is, can I be a transformational personality who can add a small change or
Yes.
whatever learning is given by my gurus? In fact,
Yes.
how many people go back to the school and meet the gurus also?
Yes.
Gurukuls are there, and they
Yes.
are the best gurukuls today. Let me
Yes.
tell you, because what you learn as a common sense access is wisdom.
Yes.
Okay. And biggest leaders have not traditionally followed educational pedagogy or this, and they are the biggest leaders today. And they have created world out of nothing.
Yes.
So their attitude towards looking the world is totally different.
Yeah.
So I think we need to change something which is more interactive, more interpersonal based, and do not underestimate those who are not scoring, because
Yes.
they are the leaders. Because they know that they can drive it. They are out of box thinkers.
Yeah.
They don't find it interesting. Make education interesting. Every teacher who's teaching with that passion, interest, always students like them. And they remember them. And the first 1 kg of Kaju Barfi goes to their house. Am I right? That is how they are reciprocal.
Yes.
And that is important. You make it something very interesting.
Yes.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah. So I was speaking to somebody recently, one of my relatives who returned from the US, and this young girl who is now worked in the US for some years after having completed her higher studies over there, she told me, Deepak, what is missing is we are not teaching our children critical thinking. She said the day I landed up in the US and when I applied for higher education and I was looking for a job, when people asked me, do you know what critical thinking is? She said, I was stumped. I have never even heard about what critical thinking was. I need to, look up on Google, check up what is critical thinking. Tell us a little bit about how a person who's passing out, who's looking to enter the job space, who does not have the necessary skills, how does he or she upgrade himself, upskill themselves?
Deepak, I'll be very honest. Okay. When you say critical thinking or upgrading yourself, the biggest thing here is values. How do you coach somebody on values?
Yeah.
How do you coach somebody on integrity? Because they all follow your action, people. Your son
Yes.
will follow your action.
Yes.
So, what is your objective? First of all, you learn, even if critical thinking is one aspect of it, which is very interesting. But objective is to get that job. One is if you're genuine and you are passionate about what you want to do, then that organization will not lose the kind of attitude you possess, that look, you may not be 100% for that job profile or that particular what they're looking for.
Yes.
But if you're sincere, if you're hardworking, smart work works. But tell me, still you people are working for 18 hours, am I right?
Yes.
You've got IIT, PhD, everything is with you. Harvard, everything is with you, but still you're working for 18 hours.
Yeah.
Then what is the difference between a smart work and hard work?
Yeah.
So critical thinking is yes, but why that critical thinking always required? Before that, you need to introspect. Why that critical situation should even come? Your
Yes.
risk-taking ability.
Yeah.
That's most important. So
Yes.
all these things, if you create right boxes, then you
Yes.
can move smoothly.
Yeah.
Before a flight takeoff, there are so many precautions you take. Am I right?
Yes.
Putting the checkbox proper way.
Yes.
And this is your
Yes.
career. Come on.
Yeah.
How sincere you are about it.
Yeah.
And then, cribbing. That's it. Cribbing management is a subject by itself. And comparison, and comparison inside the house, inside the community, everywhere. Don't allow them. You be happy and they be happy. That's it. They will move next. Whomsoever it may be. Please go ahead.
So, I mean, this is something which I have learned today. I'm just writing it down. Cribbing management. This is something I have not heard of up till today. And I have just written it down so that it stays there in my mind. Cribbing management. So what I'm getting from what you have been saying up to now is, it's not only about going to school or college and getting the the education. It's about how you are bringing up your children at school. It's about the values you are instilling in them. It's about becoming a complete human being by the time you pass out of college or when you do your post graduation. Now you are ready to enter the workforce. Now you are ready to lead. Now you are ready to learn and then probably grow.
Right. Deepak, just want to add, education is must. Okay, let me use this word very clearly because it should not be taken in the other way around. Okay.
Yeah.
Your self-discipline is important.
Yes.
Listening to your parents because they come with the experience.
Yes.
And that is important in terms of a value. Marks are extremely important. I'm not saying no about marks, but what
Yes.
that you don't give away your happiness and you're continuously on their head and all that stuff. Give them space.
Yes.
Let them be happy.
Yes.
That's important. Then the marks will be, this because currently, I see 90%, 100%, everybody is there, high percentile.
Yeah.
So where that, the guy is going to compete with. So your self-management is important. Your family happiness is not around this marking system.
Yeah.
Your success is hidden somewhere else. Find out
Yes.
and build him overall as a personality. That is important. And
Yes.
that is where education system should be building a complete personality. And
Yes.
we should rely on a personality where we can blindly trust that this person is honest. Where the honesty is gone. And that is important because all our parents and everybody is so honest to us. What do they expect from us? You
Yes.
should be happy in life. You should do your education well. They do
Yes.
not have any expectation from you,
Yes.
except the small expectation that you should be a good person.
Yeah.
So it is getting disappeared. So that is why education is must. Scoring is important, but
Yes.
not giving away your own, mental peace.
Yes. And since we are talking about education and the system, nowadays there is this growing trend of, homeschooling. Parents are deciding, I don't want to send my child to school. I don't want him to mug up 5, 6 subjects, remember all the answers and go and get exams and then, get some marks and then say, I've got 99%. And by the way, there were jokes, kids are getting marks of 99%. My phone even doesn't charge to 99%. The battery also doesn't charge. So what are your views on homeschooling?
See, again, if the honesty is hidden, then the marks will not be the parameter to judge the people and students.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Homeschooling is by default, it has come because of the pandemic issue. Okay. Otherwise, going to school, I am thrilled about personally.
Yes.
You make friends, you interact with people,
Yes.
you get often scolded by the teacher because you do something right and wrong. Okay. You miss the, a vada pav in the canteen. Okay. So
Yes.
homeschooling is great, but they get bored ultimately, or they will find the ways that, they are not attending, but they are attending.
Yeah.
So I'm not big fan of homeschooling. I'm sorry. I will say, boss, please go to school and enjoy. We always miss our childhood. 1st to 10th was the best.
Yes. I remember when we were in the 9th and 10th standard, our seniors and our other teachers in the school used to tell us, these are the 2 years you enjoy the most. Once you leave school and when you go out of school into college and then into life, and then you will remember those days. You will remember your school days. So it's important to enjoy. Wonderful, really, really wonderful message coming in. Now let's come to skills. How does one upskill oneself? Is it about going to YouTube, watching a video on how to do things and then say, I have learned this skill, or going to Udemy or any other program and, paying 99 rupees, doing that course and say, I have skilled, or I have to work under somebody who has been there, who has done that, get that experience and then say, now I am ready. This is a skill which I have learned.
Difficult question. The reason, skills are not easily available in the market. Okay. So one is, how disciplined you are, how sincere you are, your observation power. Very, very important. And most important thing, trust somebody who's teaching you.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. Okay. Second important factor is introspect and find out what you naturally possess as a skill.
Yeah.
Otherwise Sachin Tendulkar wouldn't have been a Sachin Tendulkar. Okay. So one is you need to be sure what you have and what you don't have and what you want to have.
Yes.
That's most important.
Yeah.
Because skills, you can only move towards achieving them when you put in huge efforts. I am using this word very simply so that at least uh, it is not easily available and you need to practice. That's why technology or any operational excellence, why this excellence word comes. So
Yeah.
that's why these skills are best. I will give you an example of housewife. They're the best because the kind of skills they hold as a CEO of the house, trust
Yes.
me, nobody has.
Yes.
It is not possible, Deepak, that you haven't got your tea because your sugar is over or powder is not at the house. Look at the inventory management. Look at
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Pioneers, they're the best. Learn skills from them.
Yeah.
First of all, learn skills from mother.
Yeah.
It is naturally available.
Yes.
You know, and that dedication, commitment, and doing that, sacrificing, not easily available.
Yes.
I'm taking a detour because people don't look. My best, uh, thing is, my father used to go early morning and coming late in the night, and commitment towards that ANZ Greenlands Bank was, is something to learn from him. That look, he is so disciplined.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not for a compensation, little bit more. You
Yes.
understand? It is something he is committed by himself. So that
Yes.
is the learning we have. So we
Yeah.
have observed and we said, look, we have to be dedicated.
Yes.
That's important.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are these things which we don't normally even think about, that, the housewife inventory management skills. You can learn it from your mother. You can learn it from your wife. You can learn from what your parents are doing. At this point, I want to bring Abhijit in, one of my co-hosts and also the co-founders of Bloom. And I want to ask him, and then he can always ask you his experience. By virtue of being a CA, he gets a lot of people coming in every time, every year into his office who have passed out of CA, who do not have the experience, who learn, get the skills, and then go away. First of all, Abhijit, your experience, and then the logical question to Sanjay for those questions.
So Sanjay, thanks for coming. And as I said, there's a new word we learned with Deepak also. I have also noted cribbing management. So something new. You'll always learn something new. And what I always say is one acronym which I say, wedded to life for life. And when I say wedded as an acronym, I mean by W as a work ethic. By E, I mean the energy you bring, and all the D's you use, the two D's, discipline and dedication. And again, the next D, I get the enthusiasm. And finally, the D is determination. So all of these are, I believe, qualities you need to succeed.
Yeah.
But specifically from you, with your experience of having taken various CEOs especially on board. So two questions. One is for somebody who's starting off as a young professional, if he has an aspiration to be the CEO of the organization, what do you think should be the road path for him? One. And the second question is, let's say if you are interviewing CEOs and you would have maybe about 4 or 5 CVs on the table, all of them would be equally good. So what would be your way of selecting one? So how exactly you go on the gut or the instinct, or what is it that you take for selecting some and maybe not selecting somebody else? So these are two questions before I then go ahead with the flow.
Abhi, your first question. if anybody who enters into an organization and wants to become a CEO, either in that same organization or somewhere outside. Okay. Now, first of all, you have to understand what is the role of a CEO. I am dreaming myself to become a CEO. So I need to have a sleepless night first because I'm dreaming myself to be a CEO. You understand? A dream should be such where that sleep will be going away. My sleep will be taken away. And I am working towards that. It's just not, I want to become a CEO. No, then you will never become a CEO. Because what efforts, and then you need to study what exactly the CEOs are doing. Because, and again, you need to give some 15, 20 years complete game plan. You need to be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I will be here and I will be the CEO somewhere else. Because CEO's role is very big role. Let's understand it's a complete general management role. He's like taking care of strategy, he's taking care of operations, he's taking care of financial markets, he's taking care of sales and distribution. So, and he's controlling people. It's a leadership role. So do you possess first that kind of a competency and skills in you? Because if any accountant wants to become a CEO, then he has to think first. Because what qualification you have is one particular degree you're carrying. But more importantly, you need to look at what is that I have and how do I upgrade consistently so that I can become a CEO. And then you need to work with, better you take a job of an executive assistant to a CEO and MD first, so that exactly you know what he is doing. Most of the people who come from a campus, if you look at top, founders, they have this kind of people, executive assistant to them, and they travel towards that role over a period of time to take a business head role. And that is the journey. Education is important because what happened, they always try to select the best from there. So that's first thing. You need to have a proper, education with you because you want to become a CEO. If not, then you need to prove yourself that you can do something which is probably, based on your overall attitude, passion, and the subject much better because of your observation for whichever company they work with. Because CEO journey is not easy because he is only one in the company among 25,000 people, if it's a large organization. Otherwise, the other option is you be the CEO of yourself and start your own company. Even if it is a, you're starting day one and you quit and start a company and you be a CEO of your own company so that your dream is fulfilled. And then you experience it, the pain, because entrepreneurship is tough. That's why there are less entrepreneurs and more people working. This is answer to your first question. Answer to your second question, if there are multiple profiles on the table, and why should I select the best CEO among all? I think one is, Abhijit, I actually try to interview people. Okay. It's just not CV because there are interview of profile by having an extra view of your personality and what is there on the paper. Okay. So I try to get the inner view of the personality more. Because what matters here is if the profiles are same, they are consistent, they are doing well, and they are CEOs or they are aspirational to be one level below and they will become the CEO. I more interview the person from his attitude point of view, his people management skills point of view. Because it's important that CEO takes the people along with him. Okay, transparency. There are various factors when I'm trying to interview the person, and then I recommend the best. Because I am very sure for 25 years, I've not made a mistake in that by recommending a top management profile. Various examples I can give you. They are the CEOs of the firm today. Like one of the organization now, HDFC Standard Life, I placed a CFO and she become a CEO of the firm. It's purely amazing attitude that lady possesses, Viva Padalkar. Outstanding attitude she possesses, and she is the CEO of the firm today. So that is what, probably we look into the personality, because once you know that you want to drive it and you can take that responsible position, you need to look at whether I can actually do justice to that profile. Otherwise, that position will throw you out. It's a most responsible position from a growth perspective, from sustainability point of view, and more importantly, even from retaining talent in the organization. Otherwise, your talent will migrate. And that's where we just don't look at CVs. Once we look at the CVs, we first shortlist the profile and I thoroughly interview them, assess them, evaluate them, and then recommend them. I hope I've answered your question.
Sure. Thanks. So just going on, I just want to have your users. How much of money is enough, and when do you put a full stop to all this? What do you call activities where you're just working for maybe some targets, and when do you actually start enjoying your life? Or if you're enjoying your life from day one, then how do you what they call is the mythical work-life balance? How do you manage that?
I'll break
Have you would have seen various CEOs or at top levels? How do they actually balance this?
I'll break the question. Okay. First is how much money is enough. Okay. So first of all, 1 bedroom to 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom to 4, and then a bungalow. But are you happy in that bungalow? That's my first question. Okay. So happiness is most important. Are you happy in your house? And if you're not happy, why? You need to think. So money is important, but not by sacrificing your happiness. So that's my first answer to your question. Coming back to CEO is just a designation, or any top management or any founder or any personality. But my question is then how many pills they are actually popping up? Are they mentally rich? For me, rich person is a person who's happy. You understand what I'm saying? Financially, happiness is never ending. A good player who win that match and is happy and he's achieved his goal and is successful. So let's demarcate this, because this is never ending story. As I said, 1, 2, 3, 4 and bungalow, but still in that bungalow, if you're going to take tension tablets, sorry, it's of no use. However rich you are, but if you're only going to pop up, your health is your happiness. So please pay attention towards that, because whatever money you earn, and if you cannot enjoy that money, what are you going to achieve ultimately in life? So life is simple. See, there is always confusion in a mind and a matter. If you do not mind, it does not matter. In nutshell, I told you. And that is what people keep on thinking. You understand? Just let it go. So you are happy and you are contented. Some of the people take education, they're happy about it. They do their PhD, and therefore I respect them thoroughly, because you cannot even understand what stage they are, but they are not rich. Let me be very honest. But for me, they are the richest people in life because they are happy. Please do not compare richness with, you are having a bungalow and, somebody is staying in a 1-bedroom apartment. For me, the rich person is staying in a 1-bedroom apartment and the happiest person, because that's where he's achieved and he's clear his objective goal and he can maintain it. How much money you read, Abhi, to leave your, personal 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh to maintain your house.
Yeah.
And education for children. Always you think too much, ahead, and you plan for your future and you fail to plan your present.
Yes.
Sorry, but I'm a bit emotional here because your question is emotional.
So, recently Rakesh Jhunjhunwala passed away and he left behind a legacy of what, 30,000-40,000 crore rupees. And his last message to people was, don't ignore your health. I did not give time to my health. I did not get time to, enjoy this 30,000-40,000 crore rupees. This was his last message. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Since we are talking about CEOs, and their characteristics, their qualities, their skills, we have one person in our audience today. She has spent more than 3 decades in the FMCG space, specifically in Hindustan Lever, worked with big CEOs, big names, Sanjeev Mehta, Harish Manwani and others. Brenda, if you are listening to me, can you unmute yourself and just say a few words on this conversation which is going on?
Yeah, I was just thinking as the eminent speaker was speaking, every single CEO whom I've worked with and is happy, be it Sanjeev Mehta, Naren Nanda, or Windy Banga, or Harish Manwani, their one priority was not their office. Their first, or KB Dadi said, their one priority was not their office, was not the seat they sat on. Their one priority was their family. And that's why they were successful. I remember Windy, on the very first day I started working for him, he told me, one thing I want you to know, if there is anything on my agenda, if there, I have put down even 5 minutes to go and watch my son play the piano or a race or something, you will disturb me even if it is a board meeting. That's very clear. I remember Naren, when I first started working with him, I found that he was planning, after finishing one holiday, the first thing he did when he came to the office, because he used to be trekking and also he had to go by train, was tell me that, Brenda, my next holiday is now on December 13th. And please make sure that you get the tickets. So one day I told him, one thing I really admire in you. So he, his expectations went up a lot since I had worked with many chairmen. So he said, what is it? I said, I really love the way, admire the seriousness with which you take your leisure.
Yeah.
So he had a good laugh. There are people like that, if you say Harish Manwani, the same thing. It was his two daughters, because we would spend, have lunch together. So this idea that the successful CEO, does a lot more for, think of the company 24/7, and somehow that family may not get that much attention. It is not true. If they're really successful, they have put their family first, and including Sanjeev Mehta, he had refused the job when he was first asked to take up the job in Saudi Arabia, simply because his twins were small and his wife would have to wear a burqa. So he had actually refused the job. I don't want to go into the rest of the story, but yes, every single one of them, I'm telling you, every single one of them with whom I worked, and I consider them happy. They are, they have been the first chairman when I worked for, I had a small son and he was only 3 years old. And he gave me a promotion at the end of 1 year, as he had promised. He gave me the letter and said, Brenda, don't accept it. So I said, why? Because he said, if you accept it, I'm telling you today, within 1 year, you'll have to move to Bangalore and put your family first. These are the kind of things, the stories. I think if those people are really like, say, Mr., Godrej, Adi Godrej, and, whom I've seen really happy people, they have put their family first. Everybody may not be so. There's a Indra Nui who managed both together, but she had a lot of family support. But it's true, they do. If you're really successful and you're doing that, you have put your family first. It's a myth to believe that they think, it's only office.
Yes. Thank you, Brenda, for sharing your experience, your thoughts. Brenda has been our supporter right from the very beginning. And if we've had 105 shows of the Bloom Talk Show, she has been there on 104 at least, if I can recall correctly. Thank you, Brenda, for sharing your thoughts. We have one more person in the audience, Brigadier Sushil Bhasin. I will bring him a little later. I would just like to ask 2 or 3 more questions to Sanjay, and then bring on the expertise and the mentorship qualities of Brigadier Bhasin a little later. I was reading yesterday on a LinkedIn post about a person who said that she went for an interview and the interviewer told her, you are actually overqualified for the job. Has this ever happened with you, Sanjay? And then how do you deal with this?
Very honestly, many times. Okay. And I must appreciate the frank feedback the gentleman has given to her, because what happened, sometimes your skills, your competencies, your aspiration, and that particular job, probably is not there for you, because you are much better. And in that, it will be a misfit. And that's the human resource main job, to assess and evaluate who will fit into that role, so that if at all that role tomorrow gets catapulted and go to the next level, that person is aligned. Otherwise, it will be a misfit. So yes, it happens many times.
Yes. And then how do you say no to that person? I mean, wouldn't he feel dejected? Wouldn't he say, what was the point of learning or upskilling myself if I'm not able to get a job?
No, it's not like that. See, one, if it is a diplomatic answer, then, I can't help it. Okay. But if it's a genuine answer, you need to, if I come across somebody like this, rather,
Yes.
giving cases,
Yes.
then I will actually do a diagnostic approach of that profile, and I will give a right, relevance why that particular job is not fit,
Yes.
rather than just selling, you are overqualified.
Yes.
I will just see a profile, and then, because once you know the qualification, the experience, the skill set, the competencies you possess, and you just possess more than what is required in that particular job,
Yeah.
then it is easy. It's not because, that person will not be, and anybody wants to hire, they know why that person they're going to hire, and it will be, they will have a better future outside rather than just getting killed in the company where, it's a wrong start.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't just take a job just for the heck of it or just because it is available. Take the job because it fits your profile. It's right for you. It'll help you go. It'll help you grow.
Otherwise, let me answer. If I have to, somebody asks me like this, then I need to make that job much bigger there and there by assessing and counter question.
Yes.
And I go on a size scale and their revenue model, their business model, and everything. And I'll ask many questions being an entrepreneur. I said,
Yeah.
don't worry, I'll make my job bigger than what you expect, because I am bigger than, because I am overqualified. Your job is underqualified.
Yeah.
That is how I'll answer.
Yeah. And I just want to ask you this question, and I'll just, add a meme to it, which was happening just now recently with the Bangalore rains. What are the skills required today to a person who's coming out of education? And what are the skills required, say 5 or 10 years from now, for people who are just now going through that education? And I would just like to read out this meme, which I saw on social media because of the Bangalore rains. It said that it is taking 3 hours for software engineers and coders to reach afternoon to design an app which will send you food in 10 minutes. So, what are the skills required for a person today, and what should a person be requiring or studying or upskilling himself or herself for the future?
One line answer, common sense. Okay, your question will be bigger, but my answer will be common sense.
Wonderful, wonderful. Common sense. Yeah.
Observation.
Yeah, yeah. And where does one learn common sense?
And more importantly, action and reaction and respond.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. You can see Abhijit has shown himself. Abhijit, your views and questions.
So I'll just, before we put it to the floor, just one last question to Sanjay, because he's been an investor, a venture capitalist. So what exactly he looks, so when he talks of values, so how important are the values or the ethics which that organization stands for, and how would you balance it with the revenue model?
Yeah.
So what weightage would you give when you make an investment decision?
Yes.
See, investment decision is a very deep dive approach, Abhi, first of all. Okay. So first of all, we look for multiple founders so that we de-risk a key man risk. Okay. Just to tell you first rule of the business.
Yeah.
Then we look at need, we look at relevance, we look at scalability, we look at annuity, we look at revenue model, we look at pedigree of thinkers, because it's just a guy just come and give you an idea. No, we need to look at the pedigree of that thinker. Okay. And most important thing, it's just not investment. Okay. We have to support that individual completely to make his idea successful. I just don't invest.
Yes.
Fortunately, wherever I've invested or whatever I have taken small steps, I support them and ensure that they're successful. It may be 1 or 2 years, 3 years, wherever they are. And, we trust. The biggest factor is trust.
Yeah.
If you trust his idea, and again, you have to look at, you need to be flexible. You need to be, you need to transform yourself to look at whether that particular person can transform himself.
Yes.
And then, you need to go along with that idea, so that whatever, otherwise it is, capital loss. And, to earn capital, they will take so much time, understand, and whatever, the biggest factor is trust. It's just not your money, because if we do a consortium of 5, 7, 10 people,
Yes.
it is important that, we ensure that everybody's aligned and we open the entire ecosystem so that that particular individual or founders are successful.
Yeah.
Because first of all, we have to motivate them. We have to inspire them.
Yeah.
Because there are various ideas, various things. If I evaluate 100, I probably invest in 1 or 2. Imagine 98 rejections, Abhi.
Yes.
So imagine it's more, and I invest on attitude of the person. If you ask me, nutshell, if the guy has a positive attitude, I am game. Rest all, we'll cover it up, because success and failure, nobody can write and say, boss, ye successful hoga, ye fail hoga.
Yes.
It's like, I'm not using the word gamble, but it is trust. Trust that guy. And integrity. You understand today, professionalism, discipline, all these things are very important. It's just not like fast money bana aur nikal jao. No. Today, look at the economy is going back to the robust businesses now.
Yes.
What is happening with the, all the models and everything? Now people are talking about PAT, profit after tax. So you have to give a PAT on your back first.
Yes.
That you've invested on the company, and now everybody is moving back to the model.
Yes.
I said, PAT hoga bhai, kabhi hoga bhai. What is your business plan? 5 years plan, 3 years plan?
Yeah.
Show me money on a table.
Yes.
So investor is wiser and wiser, and because he's learned it over a period of time. And you can't teach integrity, you can't teach, values. Imagine, you can't teach positive attitude. They have excuses, reasons. So you are going to melt with that, and your money will be lost.
Yeah. Since you are talking about, investment space, and what we are reading everywhere, that the VC tap has dried up. There isn't a lot of PE money coming. You are actually there. You are actually sitting there. You are actually doing it. Tell us what is happening.
See, very honestly, if you look at, money is not dried up. Okay, it is just taken a halt. Because when the market condition changes, and this is primarily based on the global economic issues, recession issues, or best example of even pandemic afterwards, business model issues. Okay, so people have to rethink, redesign, transform, and then deliver. And that's where money is just taken a halt. In fact, VCs are never dried up, because what happened to the person who has invested out of his 10, probably if the 6 investments are doing exceptionally well, 4 are gone with the wind, he's not worried, because his risk appetite is, entrepreneurs trust entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Remember one thing, there's a biggest trust. And it's just like 10 people investing 1 crore each is 10 crores.
Yeah.
So he's not putting all his money in one basket.
Yes.
And it's okay. You understand? If they've invested the money and the guy is genuine and is lost it for something learning, they're all happy about it. Let's understand that.
Yes.
You have to be genuine. That's important. So I think it's just a hard. And I think, again, it's going to be better. Because as the market has gone up, it's a sentimental issue. Let me on it. Because it's not a, large money is, by the way, India is will be a 4th economy. Forget about, 5th economy and all that stuff. We are moving faster.
Yeah.
So all the money from globally coming, because and Indian people are very dynamic. In fact, Indian talent is very dynamic.
Yes.
We are very, very dynamic people. So advantage is, they are ambitious, they're dynamic, they're aggressive, they're passionate. So all these things come together is a mix, bag. And people would like to invest where there is a multi-bagger.
Yes. Again, my takeaway from this last answer of yours was, entrepreneurs trust entrepreneurs, So that is where the trust gets established, not on your Excel sheet, not on your business model. You pat your back for the pat, which is going to be visible after 5 years. At this point, I would like to bring in Brigadier Sushil Bhasin, one of my earliest mentors and one of the biggest supporters and patrons of Bloom, regularly attends all the programs despite his hectic schedule. He's a mentor. He is an ex-army man, Brigadier Bhasin, and he talks about, from battlefield to boardroom. Brigadier Bhasin, sir, your views on what we have been discussing on upskilling. He has been very, very active on the chat, and he has been, every question and answer is being responded by a answer of his on the chat box. So a little bit about mentorship, a little bit about upskilling, your views and reactions, Brigadier, sir.
Oh my God, today has been absolutely enlightening. Thanks to Deepak's questions and Sanjay's responses. And I also really appreciate what Abhijit and Brenda brought to the table. So for me, at the moment, it's been a very, very big learning session. Here are my notes, which I'm writing as I go along. Because for me, coming to Bloom every Sunday is learning. And I'm a very proud lifelong learner. And I feel इस जन्म में तो पूरा सीख ही नहीं सकते हैं, कई जन्म लगेंगे. Okay. So, actually, really speaking, I've got so many things which I wanted to share, but we don't have that time. So when you're talking of the specific thing about upskilling, see, I feel that education starts from the time a child is born, and the first basic education is given by the parents. If you condition your child to get the priorities right, then everything else follows. But if you, like many parents today who are so busy with their work that they hardly get time to bring education to their children and leave it entirely to the maids and the nannies and the school, you are missing out on a very, very important part of education. So I have studied the NEP 2020 very well. And it's a very heartening thing that by 2030, we expect that the education system in India will improve quite a lot. But even in NEP 2020, there is not a word of parents. And I've asked this question to the person who has been the chairperson of the committee. And he also said, I'm sorry, Brigadier, we did not think of it. So this part is missing. Second thing is, I was addressing an audience of about 2,000 people of Rotary about 10 years back. When I brought in this little statistics that I'd read in an article, which at that point said that 67% of the jobs that people do today will not exist in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I mean, when we were young, when we were in school, of course, I never been to a college, so I'm illiterate that way. There was nothing called a software engineer. You couldn't say I'll become a software engineer. And like what Deepak said, you study something else and become something else. One of my very good friends, MBBS doctor, 15 years of practice, and he's a behavioral trainer now and doing extremely well. So people change, shift gears, because they found that their education, they were led into that education by some advice which did not cater for your natural talents. And again, one piece of advice that I'll give you from my experience to all people who are parents here, and I've written in the chat somewhere, help your children. And I've said it in many forums. I've spoken on a yellow talk in Passion. I spoke to the naval officers. There were about 200 retiring naval officers, and I was asked to speak to them on Passion. And what are you going to talk to Passion to people who are retiring?
Yes.
Okay. But I told them that this is that, help your children and your grandchildren identify what are they really good at. Observe. बच्चे को मजा किसमें आ रहा है, वो कहाँ ज्यादा time spend करता है, and encourage him to build up that skill.
Yeah.
Talking to these 2,000 children and about 500 parents who came, I said, you don't know what you are teaching your children and what are you preparing them for, because life is so uncertain. Yeah. So dancing with uncertainty is the skill that you have to acquire.
Yeah.
And yesterday I've written a small article, 200 words for PMI South Asia conference, which I'm speaking on 9th of December. And this is all on this, that how are you future ready? How are you preparing for that uncertain world? Yeah. How are you going to cater for that storm? Yes. And are you going to be able to surf the tidal waves, or are you going to drown? Yeah. And that depends on how prepared. So the three things that children can do, and you can teach your children today, which will help them when robotics and AI and all become supreme. Three things that robotics will not do for some time. Even if if you talk about what is that, Sophia, who's already an intelligent robo. Yeah. The three things that will really pay us well is creativity, yes, imagination, and yes, innovation. Wonderful. And that is what we kill right in the beginning. Ratte maar ke usko aap bolte ho creativity chhod do. Okay. So these are the couple of things I can say, and I'm very tempted to tell you a small story. I'll be as brief as possible. about happiness when Sanjay said, you can be living in a big house, but you may not be happy.
Yeah.
I think it was about 15 years back. I'd come to Bombay for a holiday with my cousin, and we were all getting ready to go to the US club for the New Year's Eve.
Hmm.
Now, I'd heard a lot about US Club. I'd never been there, and we were going to be there. And I was told this New Year's Eve organized by the Navy is probably one of the best in the country and all that. So, because we were a large group of people, I chose to first get ready so that I am not in a queue for the washroom. So while others were getting ready, I was standing next to the window and looking out, just seeing what is happening. I just saw that on the footpath below, we were on the 4th or 5th floor. There was somebody who came and put a dari. Then somebody else came and brought some wood. Then they started lighting a fire. Then somebody brought a dholak. And in about half an hour, I saw the best New Year party on the footpath. And I can tell you that the US Club New Year party was no patch to the happiness that these people were getting. I don't know what they were drinking, but they had some glass, they had some food, and they were on the footpath. But you could see and feel the happiness that they were getting out of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Brigadier Sir, for sharing your experience. And this small story, I'm reminded of what Brenda said, serious leisure. You know, these guys were seriously enjoying themselves when that New Year was coming. That's how a lot of people enjoy. That's how a lot of people live their lives. It's 1:22 in the afternoon on a Sunday. I would like to take this opportunity to open up this room. Anybody would like to ask any question directly to Sanjay or has any views or would like to share anything, please unmute yourself and ask. Anyone?
I just want to say this, that I'm so happy I attended this talk, and whenever I meet Sanjay, 15-20 days, 1 month after that, I'm so charged up. I'm like, दुनिया में सब हो सकता है, सब कर लेंगे. So it's always such a pleasure to hear, because he not only speaks it, he lives. And thank you so much for organizing this, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you all of you.
Thank you,
Lovely,
Jaya, for
lovely
joining in.
questions you all have framed. And I liked how you all bring in, different elements to this.
Thank you, Jaya. Thank you.
Thank you.
I neither have a question nor a suggestion nor a comment, but I have a request to, now we are 14, but we were 22 people here.
Yes.
I've been attending this Bloom session almost every Sunday for a long time. And I only go back very dissatisfied with the number of people who attend. When there is so much value, I don't know why we don't get more people. So I would make a very strong recommendation to all those who are here to share this in social media. Tell your friends that you are missing something. I think this could be a part of serious leisure on a Sunday afternoon.
Yes, serious leisure on a Sunday afternoon. So before I ask our CEO, who dreamt of becoming a CEO, and at times when she pulls her hair and she calls me up, Deepak sir, why this is happening? Why everybody is contacting me? Why should I be answerable to everyone? I don't want to take this responsibility. From now on, you this. And I'm just picking up from what Sanjay said, CEO, Sanjay, are CEOs born or are CEOs groomed?
Again, one answer. Quality of your thoughts will make you big.
Yeah.
Okay, because what will happen?
Yes.
You try to groom someone, but if you do not take it with the right perspective or right attitude,
yes,
he will not be groomed as a CEO.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And CEOs are not born, okay, because what happens? They are there. They need to be. It's just like a upbringing required.
Yes.
Then they'll become a CEO. Because if anybody sees I'm a CEO born, he will fail over a period of time.
Yes.
And then they will not call him a CEO.
Yeah.
So his journey will be painful.
Yes.
Okay. So short-term pain, long-term gain.
Yeah.
Or a long-term pain, short-term gain. That is the dichotomy always will remain to bring CEOs up.
Yes. And like Abhijit says, every risk needs to be de-risked. So whatever you plan for, whatever you do, whatever you think, first de-risk whatever risk you are taking, and then that's the way ahead. Let me ask my CEO of Bloom to unmute herself, say a few words before we officially close this session.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you, Deepak sir, for always putting me in on the spot. So my journey has been, as a CEO, has been experiential. And I never imagined Bloom could complete so many 108 talk shows. And whatever Bloom is today, it's because of the 4 strongest pillars which I have, and I'm blessed. And I'm also truly blessed with these wonderful audiences and dynamic and powerful speakers like Sanjay ji has. So thank you so much for making Bloom such a successful organization, for contributing of your valuable time and knowledge. And Brigadier sir, we will definitely work on getting more audiences on a seriously leisure time every Sunday.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here and for removing time. God bless you all.
Thank you, Payal. Thank you, Sanjay, for taking time out and joining in. Thank you for that offer about talking about an investor for us. We hope to see you again soon on the Bloom Talk Show and other Bloom functions. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for taking out time. Thank you for attending today. Thank you, everyone. It's a Sunday afternoon. Time to go and join our family for lunch. Till we meet again next Sunday, 12:30 p.m. India time on another episode of the Sunday Bloom Talk Show. Thank you and God bless everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the team.